Do you trust a random stranger to give you life-altering advice? Imagine walking up to a stranger, you give them this coin. Hey, toss the coin. Toss the coin, and based off of what it lands on, by you tossing it, I'm gonna decide whether or not I break up with my girlfriend and move to the other side of the country to join a band. And my fate is in this random person's hand. Someone I don't even know. I don't even know what this person is about. Would you trust a stranger with that level of power? At the pier in San Diego, California, there's this TikToker, Bailey, who's casually sitting on the side, and she is hoping that people trust a stranger like that. She's got this giant poster board sitting on her lap, and it just reads, "Ask me for free advice," in big, bright orange letters. I don't know how long she's been sitting out there for, but a middle-aged man stops on his bike.
Do I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
Yes, and it's such an intense question. Wait, say that one more time. Do I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
Do you have family there?
No.
Why do you want to go?
Meet a woman.
To meet a woman. And it was
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Which, that's a huge thing to ask a stranger for advice. Do you move to the other side of the world for a woman, or do you stay here? I don't know, but maybe he just needs someone who blurts out an answer. To give you the honest truth of how I feel about this TikTok, it appears to me that he just wants someone to say yes. Like, you know when you ask someone for advice, but you already know what you want to hear, so anything else is just going in one ear and out the other. It doesn't matter to you. It's like when you decide you want to buy something already. You ask your friend, and they tell you, do you really need it? You just keep going until they say, yeah, you should totally get it. That's the energy here.
Yeah.
And the man on the bike has this very interesting outward appearance. He's wearing this black beanie, but it's only covering half of his bald head. And he's eerily calm the entire time. Like a bit too calm. The way he's just pleasantly smiling. Do I just uproot my life and move to the other side of the country?
Yeah, it's really odd, right?
Yes. And the TikToker Bailey continues to ask him,
You don't like American women?
No, they're familiar.
So you've given up on meeting someone here?
No, I'm married.
Oh.
Yeah.
so he's married, pondering if he should move to the other side of the world for a woman. And the whole thing just gets stranger and stranger. He talks about how his kids are out of the house. He has an empty nest. He wants to find a woman that he's content with. He says, quote, I want to find a companion that I'm content with. And the whole time he's just pleasantly smiling while Bailey keeps telling him, sir, you're unhinged. You need to at least talk to your wife about this or settle things out here first before you even think about moving out of the country. This is crazy. This is between you and your wife.
I want to find a companion that I'm content with.
I think that requires you to divorce someone first.
Well, maybe. That's good.
And he's mentioning that their love is diminished and he's just pleasantly calm the entire time. And there's this one part of the TikTok where he just looks at her and says, yeah, and then 6 months later. And he kind of throws his hands up in the air as if 6 months later he's going to end up in Uzbekistan. Now, at the very end of this very transparent conversation, I think that he realizes he's being recorded.
So sort out your marriage and then get back to me on that.
Maybe I'll find myself on the internet.
That video was filmed in June of 2024, June of this year. A few months later, in August, just like 2 months later, someone who looks very, very similar to this man on the bike, eerily similar, goes missing. Quite literally vanishes in the most bizarre kayaking trip out at the lake. His kayak is found in the water, overturned in the deepest part of the lake. His car is nearby. His wallet is found. But all netizens are wondering is, did he actually drown in the lake? Or did he leave his family and slip away to Uzbekistan? Or is that even really him in the TikTok video? We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support Bruce's legacy. They are a volunteer-based nonprofit who specialize in search and recovery operations for victims of drowning. For example, they have a specialized dive team that can be deployed to a drowning incident if the authorities lack the right resources. They also help by using side-scan sonar technology, decreasing diving risks for everyone involved in the search and recovery. As always, full show notes are available at RottenMangoPodcast.com. One quick disclaimer, this case is also ongoing, and as of now, most of this remains, I want to say, legally unconfirmed by authorities. So with that being said, everything is alleged, and most of these are speculations by netizens. The entrance to the cemetery looks straight out of a horror movie. Or like a Halloween movie. Like, you know the show Wednesday? It kind of has that aesthetic. It's all iron. The gate to the cemetery is iron. And at the very top, it has this ornate design. And there's just 2 words hanging there. Dartford Cemetery. It's only one of the most haunted spots in the entire state of Wisconsin. It's located just right around the corner from Green Lake, which happens to be one of the deepest lakes in the state, and the cemetery is now the final resting place for at least 2,591 bodies. The local legend is this: if you were to walk into the cemetery, you walk up to this one tombstone. The name on there is Jackson Walker. Nobody really knows much about who Jackson Walker was, except that he died a long, long time ago. And he's got this giant mausoleum tombstone over his grave. It's huge. It could maybe fit 5 people on there, about 4 feet tall. And you climb on top of this tombstone, and you just sit there, and you wait. That's what the locals say. You wait and you wait until you feel something like a hand on your back. And once you feel it, keep in mind, this is very important, you do not look. Not that you really have the chance to, because by that point, that force is going to push on your back and it's going to completely push you off the tombstone. The whole thing is only about 4 feet tall, so likely you're not going to be injured. But even so, you're going to be standing there feeling like there's a long hair that fell into your shirt and it's traveling down your spine. You're going to feel a little shiver. One netizen writes about the cemetery. I was a junior in high school, and a group of friends and I had been looking for a place to hang out during late October. It was during Halloween season. So seeing that Dartford Cemetery was only 20 minutes away from our place, we decided, you know what, let's just venture out at 10 p.m., check it out. Upon arriving, there was nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, it just looked like a cemetery. My 2 friends and I got out of the car and we walked into the darkness with the only light reflecting off the old tombstones. And the dare was we were to sit on this tombstone that was rumored to contain the bodies of the children who had been stricken with polio and died. So as we walked closer to the landmark, I accidentally stepped on a grave. And suddenly the feeling of ice crept up my leg as if I was being grabbed by an icy hand. I quickly moved and I told my friends, but we kept going. I looked for the name on the headstone. It was too old to read. Once we got up to the tombstone, we sat on top of it. Only my friend Josh and I knew about the rumor of being pushed off by the ghost. We sat around, had a cigarette, and I felt really disappointed. We decided to get off, go home, but as Josh and I stood up, Tom, our other friend, fell off the top. I was amazed, but at the same time in awe of what power beyond the grave could even do this event. The roof of the structure was not at all slippery, so there was no reason that he would fall off. And as we were briskly walking back to the car, we also had this feeling of being watched, and Tom claimed to have seen shadows moving between the headstones. I have not been to Dartford Cemetery in several years since then, but I always think about it, about what happened that night. So why is the cemetery so haunted? I mean, technically there are 20,272 registered cemeteries in the United States, not including the unregistered ones that nobody knows about. But out of the 20-something thousand, why is this one so haunted? For thousands of years, the indigenous people considered Green Lake a very sacred place where you go to pay homage to, quote, the spirit that dwells beneath the water. Back then, the cemetery on the lake had a more beautiful history surrounding it, until, of course, the United States government forced the indigenous people off the land, and that's when things clearly go south. Chief High-Knocker, the last indigenous chief in the area, was buried at the cemetery. He's known to be one of the spirits haunting the area because, do you blame him? He would have been very mad to see what happened to his people. Which, side note, it is said he passed away August 12th, 1911, from drowning in the Green Lake. And now, August 12th, 2024, exactly 113 years later, another man goes missing at Green Lake, presumably drowned in a part of the lake that is over 200 feet deep. Which, if that's the case, that's not looking very good. The call comes in early in the morning from a woman. Her husband went missing last night at Green Lake. What do you mean he went missing? He texted his wife the night before at around 11 p.m. He tells her that he was kayaking on the lake, he's turning around in the water now, and he's heading to shore. So he should have been home, I don't know, let's say latest midnight, which already is alarming for authorities because even if you're an experienced kayaker, probably not the smartest thing to do in the middle of the night. But nevertheless, he doesn't make it home. His wife doesn't notice until about 5 a.m. the next morning. She wakes up, he's still not there. The authorities rushed to figure it out. Maybe he made it back to shore and decided to stay at a friend's house. Deputies rushed to the lake. The first bad sign, they come across the missing man, Ryan, his car, parked near the lake along with his trailer. Okay, that's okay. Maybe his kayak got stuck in the water and he's been waiting for someone to come and help him. You know, traumatic, but a great outcome considering the circumstances. First sweep of the lake, they find Ryan's kayak overturned, capsized, floating by itself in the lake. Now things are not looking as good. The biggest problem now is, well, if Ryan capsized in his kayak, he's likely dead. He was last heard from 11 p.m. He isn't reported missing until 5 a.m. If he capsized, how could he have survived? Perhaps he swam to shore, but there's an undercurrent that's strong. That doesn't make sense. And why wouldn't he be near his car then? Meaning he's likely dead and in the water, which means even the search for him is going to be hard. The part where his kayak capsized is, like I said, one of the deeper parts of the lake, 220 feet deep. That's deeper than the average lake across the world. At 200 feet, you can barely see what's in front of you. There's barely any sunlight that penetrates the water. The water is essentially black liquid. This is not something that the local sheriff's office can do alone. They have to bring in specialized search and rescue, a nonprofit called Bruce's Legacy that offers to help search for Ryan.
Bruce's Legacy has helped us in the past with drownings that we've had on our lake, and the reason why is because of the depth of our lake. Our lake is 238 feet, the largest inland lake in Wisconsin.
They're going to bring in sonar technology to scan inside the lake. They have those beams that shoot out into the water. They scan what's down there without actually going down. You can kind of see an image on what's under the surface from on the boat, but you really can't have a thorough search and rescue without divers. Sonar is like a flashlight. It quickly scans the whole room. It shows you where things are, but you can't tell exactly what each thing is. It narrows down a search area very quickly, but that's it. Once that area is narrowed down, you need divers. Additionally, the sheriff's office will be bringing in canine dogs. Canine dogs have actually been known to accurately detect remains even in murky waters at depths of at least 50 feet deep.
What?
They typically do not enter the water. They stand on the edge of boats to detect scents. They can do a lot of surface area very quickly.
That's crazy.
Yes, but that also means that you need very specific boats because their snouts have to get close enough to the water to scan it while they're driving slowly.
Really?
Yeah. It's very interesting. The dogs will be very important considering the water is incredibly murky in this part of the lake that he's vanished. Every hour that passes since Ryan is reported missing feels like the tension is just getting bigger. His wife and his 3 kids are waiting to hear the news that he's okay. I mean, they have faith that he's somewhere alive and well, and they just need to find him. But within 24 hours of him being reported missing, a fisherman fishes up a giant fishing pole that is identified to be Ryan's. They find a tackle box inside Ryan's wallet, ID, keys. For 54 days, they're searching. The entire community is getting involved, giving out food, gift cards to those searching so that they can go buy food because all they're doing all day for 12-hour days is searching the lake for Ryan's body. The local docks are loaning out boats to search and recovery. Meanwhile, Ryan's wife and 3 kids, the oldest is in high school. They're selling t-shirts that say faith over fear to help fund the search. And they're being very optimistic, but it's just not looking good for Ryan. I mean, there's just no way that this man is at the bottom of the lake. Keith is the man that runs Bruce's Legacy. He started the nonprofit because his brother Bruce was a firefighter who drowned while searching for a drowning victim. And Keith has done a lot of searches. He scanned through so many lakes. By this point, 8 weeks later, in early October, he's pulling Sheriff Podal aside. This is the sheriff in charge of the whole search. Sheriff, I'm good at what I do. In this particular lake, he's been doing 9 12-hour days looking for Ryan, and he says, I'm telling you right now, I don't think that Ryan is in that lake. What? Then where is he? Did he capsize the kayak, swim ashore, and then hide in the woods or something? What do you mean he's not in the lake? In light of this conversation, Sheriff Podell decides, I'm just gonna run his name. I'm gonna run his name and see what happens. They run Ryan Borgwart's name. His passport comes up as entering Canada the day after he's reported missing.
Wow, yeah. That was something we didn't expect.
Because there's a log of all of this. How is that possible? How does a dead, drowned man go to Canada? He's supposed to be at the bottom of the lake that they spent $40,000 searching for him. What the hell do you mean his passport came up in Canada?
Wait, so this is 50 days later?
54.
They didn't search his name in the system for that long.
No, because, the evidence was very clearly, and his passport was at home.
Oh.
Exactly.
Then how did he pass? Okay.
We'll get there. My husband has been so adamant on teaching our nieces about investing, and I really had to explain to him, sir, these kids are 3 years old. But he always tells me he wishes someone taught him more about finance and investing, because according to him, time in the market beats timing the market. And that is why we love Acorns. Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. I love how simple Acorns makes everything feel. In my opinion, it's the best way to get yourself or a younger loved one to dip their toes into the world of investing. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. And that's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. Head to acorns.com/rotten or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risks. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/rotten. Did you know that small businesses employ half of the nation's workforce? And if you've been thinking about launching that hand crochet business that you have dreamed about for years, or maybe selling your artwork on a professional scale, you guys always tag me in your artwork and I'm like, I want to buy this artwork. You're so talented. And the time could be now. With the new year coming up and Shopify's holiday special, make your any sized business dreams come true. Shopify is the most user-friendly e-commerce platform designed to help businesses of all sizes create, manage, and grow their online stores using these customizable templates. A lot of you guys may know that we've been loving Shopify for some time now. When we sold Grandpa Mango's limited edition art prints, Shopify took care of all the nitty-gritty tedious stuff. For example, it was the inventory tracker. It managed all of that and even provided alerts for when something is low in stock. If you have a physical location for your shop, Shopify's point of sale system and checkout tools will work in tandem with your online store's inventory management as well. Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. The time is now. Make your any size business dreams become a reality this New Year's with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/rotten, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/rotten now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/rotten. So they start rabbit holing. Not only did his passport come up in Canada, the laptop that they found at his house, the hard drive had been recently replaced. And his search history had been deleted the day he went missing. Why the hell would this family man delete his search history conveniently the day that he goes missing? The sheriff eventually makes a press announcement. Due to the discovery of new evidence, we are confident that Ryan Borgwart is not located in the Green Lake. We have ended all search efforts associated with Green Lake. At this time, we believe Ryan is alive and likely in Eastern Europe. To put it lightly, they are now accusing Ryan Borgwart of faking his death escaping to Eastern Europe. Is that what the sheriff is saying? He tricks the whole town, his coworkers, family, wife, and kids all believe that he drowned in the lake when he really didn't. They're all passing out food to the search and rescue teams. What kind of person does that? What kind of person has any good reason to fake their death? Did you know every situation of someone faking their death that we know of are unsuccessful ones? We don't know about all the successful ones. One netizen writes on Reddit, the best way to fake one's death obviously is not a kayak. That's some beginner novice shit. but rather, easiest way is killing someone roughly the same size as you. Dress them in your clothes, remove all their teeth and get rid of them, position the body inside your car on the driver's seat. Now you remove all your teeth and place them in the body. Gas it up, set it on fire, walk away and go live a new life. Which is very extreme.
That is crazy. So they're saying to fake your own death, you have to commit murder and then pull out all your teeth, and then you can pretend that you're dead.
Yeah. Which at that point,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But that still doesn't answer why someone would want to fake their death. You know the book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? It's like a very famous book. The author of that book actually staged this elaborate death where it appeared he jumped off a cliff and he wrote this note to go along with it. Ocean, ocean, I will beat you one day, or something poetic like that. When in reality, he was hiding in his friend's trunk while they drove into Mexico. He faked his death to get away from a marijuana charge. In the end, he was found doing copious more drugs in Mexico and brought back to the United States for a 5-month jail sentence. In 2003, a guy named Jesse Kiff died. Well, he faked his death. He hacked into the Hawaii death registry system using stolen credentials from a doctor, declared himself dead, signed using the doctor's stolen credentials. Also, he could allegedly avoid paying over $100,000 he owed in child support. Or maybe sometimes people fake their deaths because they're spies for high-powered government agencies. There's many reasons why someone would fake their death. But Sheriff Padal is initially very cryptic. He reveals, yes, we suspect that Ryan faked his death, but he doesn't really reveal why. He says, everything we have found, we're in a really good position that we know he is somewhere out there. All we want to know is that he is safe. Our goal is to identify any crimes that have been committed by any individuals who assisted with this crime. Ryan, if you're watching this, I'm pleading that you contact us or contact your family. We understand that things can happen, but there's a family that wants their daddy back. So why would Ryan Borgward fake his death? Authorities are able to retrieve data from his computer that he thought he had gotten rid of. This man had been in contact with a woman from Uzbekistan. He had Googled how to transfer funds into foreign bank accounts, and he took out a $375,000 life insurance policy so that when he, quote, dies, his family will be taken care of, if you will. So did he really fake his death to be with a woman from Uzbekistan? That is very extreme. Some netizens are calling him the ultimate passport bro. Evidently, I think marrying someone that doesn't have a similar culture or upbringing as you is a fascinating experience. I think there's a lot that you can learn from each other. I also think that dating and love should be bound by no geographical constraints, right? However, I do think it's weird when people go abroad for the sole purpose of finding a partner because they hate all the quote options they have at home. I think that's a little weird. I do find that to be a very thin line between chasing your dreams and happiness to straight up looking for partners that are in more exploitable conditions. Welcome to the conversation of passport bros. Many netizens like to call them LBH. Do you know what that stands for?
The passport bros like to call themselves LBH?
No, people like to call passport bros LBH.
Oh, I don't know.
Losers back home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they now are forced to travel to different countries to find people to date, is what some netizens say about passport bros. Draw your own conclusions. I'm not here to sway you into loving them, hating them, agreeing with them, disagreeing. I think they exist, and I think it's fascinating and terrifying. One passport bro states that women overseas are just more open-minded. He goes on to state, another misconception is that passport bros can't meet the standards of women in the US, so they travel overseas to date foreign women. But this perspective is elitist. What makes Western women the pinnacle of the global dating scene? Which, I don't think anyone said that, right? Is the only reason someone travels abroad to date because they can't find a partner in the US? I believe many passport bros feel it's the opposite, and it's women in the US who can't rise to their standards. He says he hopes to find love and settle down in one of his top contending countries, Brazil, Colombia, and South Korea. Which, no one's getting married in South Korea, so I don't know what you're thinking. But as for what he looks for in a woman, he says someone beautiful, loyal, and family-oriented. Again, I think if you love traveling or you love a specific culture and you wish to find a partner that's immersed and shares that same interest, that's beautiful. But passport bros keep taking it 10 steps too far. This is from actually one of the more palatable passport bros out there. Others write about their travels in Southeast Asia, which, by the way, Southeast Asian women are incredibly beautiful, yes. But the way they talk about these women in these forums is, okay, just listen. They have traditional values. Every single one of them that I talk to lived with their parents. These girls rate on a hot scale much higher than your average woman in the West, and they are more ready to please. Some of the passport bros just hate on invisible American women screaming into the empty chambers of their brain. To the salty Western woman lurking on these forums, yikes, you have no idea the competition you are now facing for men.
That's crazy.
Yeah, again, love who you love. I think you can be attracted to different cultures, different aesthetics, but why put on this fictitious war between women fighting over you in your mind? That's just the beginning stage of a mental health condition that will eat away with you. But they keep ranting. You cannot even come close to what woman overseas has to offer. So keep lurking on our forums, keep staying bitter, keep trying to shame us, and we will keep leaving for greener pastures overseas. My next mission is to get my other single friends that also have great jobs like me to give Passport Bro life a chance. Again, nobody is stopping you. Truly. This is why you have a passport. I'm so sorry, guys. I have been lurking on these forums and I read it. I felt the pain and now you need to too, okay? Some of these passport bros, they're not even worried about Western women like that. They're worried about, quote, ruining the woman overseas. A TikToker posted a video from the Dominican Republic giving advice to other bros. Man, don't go crazy. These local countries, they have their own economy set up. In some places, for instance, in the Dominican Republic, you know the average person pays between $100, $200 a month for rent. So if you know you're coming here and being Papi Dinero and spending $200, $300 on a female in a day, you're just blowing things way out of proportion. You're messing up the local economy. So now the next guy comes down, these women are going to expect more than they've probably ever seen. I'm not going to say deserve because you can get what you can get out of life. When you come here and you start going crazy, throwing things off balance, you know, a lot of the guys are going down to the DR and treating the place like a strip club. You're upsetting the imbalance of things. I heard stories of guys back in the 90s. You know, I heard stories of guys going down there and having a nice time with a young lady for $50 or something for a couple of days. You try to offer that to a young lady now, she's going to laugh in your face. Why? Because the local economy, the structure of things has been thrown off.
Wow.
Most people think that this man is a crusty man with crusty skid marks, but I regret to inform you that some people agree with him, and that could be potentially terrifying. One comment reads, "He's right. I ran into this exact problem the last time I went down there." Another netizen writes, "A majority of these passport bros are turning the women in these countries into Western women. I keep seeing posts about guys bragging about going on 10 different dates in 10 days, sleeping with woman after woman as they go from country to country, basically treating them like disposable trash, which is why I won't even step foot into insert country unless you're fine with dating a woman who has been run through by about 15 degenerate passport bros." They also complain about the worst things that could possibly happen while they date overseas. Which, side note, you know, some of the worst things that could happen to anyone, and obviously a lot of women, is, well, to be tortured, essayed, and killed going on a date. But passport bros complain online that some of the worst dating encounters that they've had overseas, they write, "The worst I've experienced is that they aren't as hot or as enthusiastic as they were online." Still significantly better than here in the US. On that same note, another netizen writes, "Oh yeah, the worst, the girl shows up and bum bum bum, she's fat." Another one just comments, "Oh yeah, the worst thing that could possibly happen is getting used for a green card." Small Business Saturday just passed, and it reminded me of a very interesting fact that you can use at your trivia night next time. Did you know that small businesses employ half of the nation's workforce? I didn't know that. They're really the foundation and backbone of, I guess, like the whole economy. And if you've been thinking about launching that hand crochet business that you have dreamed about for years, or maybe selling your artwork on a professional scale, you guys always tag me in your artwork and I'm like, how are you not, like, I want to buy this artwork. You're so talented. And the time could be now. With the new year coming up and Shopify's holiday special, make your any sized business dreams come true. Shopify is the most user-friendly e-commerce platform designed to help businesses of all sizes create, manage, and grow their online stores using these customizable templates. A lot of you guys may know that we've been loving Shopify for some time now. When we sold Grandpa Mango's limited edition art prints, Shopify took care of all the nitty-gritty, tedious stuff. For example, everything was user-friendly, but this was just the chef's kisses, and it was the inventory tracker. It managed all of that and even provided alerts for when something is low in stock, so that allows us and you to focus on sending out more orders and doing all the fun stuff in a business. If you have a physical location for your shop, Shopify's point of sale system and checkout tools will work in tandem with your online store's inventory management as well. So once you start selling both online or in person, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. The time is now. Make your any size business dreams become a reality this New Year's with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/rotten, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/rotten now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/rotten. There's one video of a man who, honestly, I don't know how old he is, but he has a sour, wilted look to his face. He's standing in the parking lot, filming a younger woman who is visually so clearly out of his league. And he says loudly, "Passport bros, you want to hear a success story? Look what I pulled." She doesn't even speak English, so I don't even have to listen to her. Which the top comment reads, "Once she gets that green card, she will speak all the languages." But some passport bros try to argue that it's because they're just going where they're appreciated. They write, "I hated the term passport bro and all the negative connotations attached to it. For me, I was just going where I'm appreciated. It's really that simple." To which one netizen comments back, "The US culture hates men. The US culture uses men and discards them for not performing enough in long-term relationships. Most women don't value men in the US and view them as competition. Women have a chip on their shoulders due to dealing with a small group of men, or I don't know, past childhood trauma due to a father that most likely wasn't there. The legal system is and blames men. I'll say this, fuck this culture. You matter. And seek out the destiny God has put in front of you. You are free. You're not a slave to be used with nothing in return." The bros rant about how, quote, "It doesn't get better for a woman in the US anywhere outside the US. Whether we're talking about earning power of men in the US, alimony, child support, divorce laws, average woman over 27 being overweight, yeah, their life doesn't get better outside the US." They also say that American women are so particular about love that they won't date a short guy even if he clicks off all the other boxes. With a strong absence of neurons firing away, one netizen writes, "I know they ask, why don't you date an American woman? Well, American women are highly feministic since white woman feminism encourages women to go for tall men. I am 5'6" and they rejected me. I'd already given up on women and I thought that I would die alone, so I had 3 choices in America, which are get height surgery, which is dangerous and experimental, go for fat women, or go for women that are my age but mostly are all already single moms. I don't know why feminists are getting mad when they didn't even want us in the first place." Someone responds, "First, you must understand that modern women are not feminist. They are opportunistic capitalists who use feminist tenets to obscure their behavior. They aren't interested in equality. Only anything that men use to have the upper hand. They don't want a level playing field. They want an advantage to take revenge on the so-called patriarchy. Keep in mind that their idea of revenge is basically everywhere being Sex in the City where they get easy access to rich men and hot guys for sex." This guy is so mistaken. Every single girl in my life that I know, they do not care for capitalism. They care not to wedge their house keys between their knuckles in a parking lot. This is a mental war that you continue to fight with your own mind. You will never win the war because it is against yourself. In conclusion, you remain a loser. Not in like a mean, childish, derogatory way, just logically speaking, you're a loser. Because you lose the math. Yeah. Meanwhile, this is what many, not all, don't get emotional, many passport bros are writing about in their forums. Listen to this. Been in Manila for about 5 months now, leaving soon in a few weeks. In the last months, I had my girlfriend live with me. Lots of ups and downs. So he goes to Manila, gets a girlfriend, and has her move in. Mostly ups, but she can be extremely annoying, defiant, and clingy at times. But I guess that comes with the territory of dating a 19-year-old.
How old is he? Do we know?
Late 20s, I think. This is the first time I've had a partner live with me, and it has made me realize that I'm not ready for it, and maybe I never will be. Things were a lot better when she would just come and stay on the weekends, and I would be seeing other women during the week. Today we got into a fight. I wanted to eat pizza for lunch, and she wanted to eat something with rice. He goes on to detail that he threatens to abandon her without a ride back to their house, threatens to starve her until she starts, quote, acting right, and sits down at the restaurant with pizza. He says, I can see how a lot of Western guys with no dating experience come here and eventually get worn down and steamrolled by a girl they're dating because they're still in that Western scarcity mindset. But I know that I'm the prize here. It's amazing to have so many options here because I know if she gets too uppity, I could just be dating a new girl tomorrow. And she knows this too.
Wow.
Which I know some people do argue. The guys are getting something out of it. And maybe some of the girls, which side note, I think it is very strange that we all believe everyone wants to move to America. Some people think, if the girls do want to move to America, they know that the guy is not in love with them for who they are. This is their way to get a green card. By all means, do your thing. Everyone do their thing, right? It's its own little ecosystem that's working. It's a checks and balances. But these days, the passport bros are very angry about this idea as well. One writes, loving my passport bro decision, but I'm bringing my Filipino wife back to the West. I want to empower her to thrive, grow, and be fulfilled as a person. But I am concerned of her becoming converted to woke, politicized, feminist ideas. It sadly happened to my previous Western girlfriends. Fellow passport bros, go crazy in the comments. It's probably going to happen. I would not bring her to an environment that fosters that mindset, but you do what you want. Or, fact is, all the odds are against you. Every aspect of Western culture promotes selfishness and lack of accountability and rewards women who have no morals. She will have friends and acquaintances on top of that are influencing her. It's built into women's brains, unfortunately, to never be satisfied or grateful for what they have, no matter how great it is, and always keep wanting more. Another commentator just gives tips. Having an anti-feminist mindset is smart. She has to see the average Western feminist woman as foolish and unattractive. Frankly, there isn't much feminine about the average American feminist woman. They pretty much act like men. That's why you did the passport thing. You didn't find them attractive. You didn't want to be with a woman that had a male mindset. She needs to fully understand that and see how unattractive that is to you and to most men. But ultimately, if you bring a woman to the West, then she's going to turn into the woman that you're trying to avoid. Other people just encourage him to impregnate her as quickly as possible when she gets to the United States so that she can stay focused on him and the family. So is that what Ryan faked his death for? To be a passport bro? That's everybody's best guess right now. I mean, perhaps there's a better reason, or perhaps the woman he's communicating with online was just a friend or someone helping him figure out how to fake his death but didn't have any other relation to him. Maybe she ran an overseas relocation service. Who knows?
He said American women are too familiar, right?
That's what the guy on the TikTok said.
Oh, right.
He said that they're familiar. Which is exactly the verbiage that a lot of these passport bros use. Yeah.
Really?
You don't like American women?
No, they're familiar.
Which I do want to clarify. The sheriff's office has stated that they are doubtful that it is Ryan in that viral TikTok video. They say, we are not actively pursuing this as a lead in this case, but we have seen the video and we have contact info for the people involved. We do not believe it is Ryan.
Then who is the guy?
Yeah, nobody believed the sheriff, so they argued again. We have verified that it is not Ryan by contacting people who know Ryan. Some people still don't believe it, and they state, either that's the same guy, or there's a lot of married men with girlfriends in Uzbekistan.
Yeah. Ultimately,
Ultimately, all this news coverage, because Ryan goes missing. The TikTok gets posted and everyone goes, wait a minute. Okay, so the TikTok is filmed June of 2024, but it's not posted until November 2024. He goes missing August. So he goes missing August. The TikTok is posted in November. So people are like, wait a minute. This guy just went missing. Like 2 months ago, he went missing. I was seeing it on the news. Then this blows up, snowballs, everything goes, it becomes like international news. Ultimately, all this news coverage leads to Ryan sending in a proof of life video because he's alive. He's not dead in the lake.
Wait, Ryan sent the video?
Yes.
To who?
To the police, the sheriffs.
What? How?
Yes.
Why?
It appears that things are snowballing too much. The sheriff knew that he was alive, knew that he went into Canada, and was like, Ryan, if you're seeing this, contact us. And I think he didn't want it to snowball into an international manhunt for him.
Okay.
So he sends in a proof of life video, and I will say it is the most bizarre proof of life video that I've ever seen in my life. I think those hostage videos where they hold up the newspaper is less bizarre than this.
Okay.
Yeah, the hostage movies I meant, where they hold up the newspaper, is less bizarre than this. He's wearing this orange shirt, and he looks like he's having a rough time. It looks like, and I don't say that with sympathy, I say that with he's not looking good. Uzbekistan is not treating him well, is the vibe. He says,
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgwart. Today, hello Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
Hope this works?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but people think once this video came out, this reminds them so much of the TikTok video because their energies are so oddly similar. He's not smiling and pleasant, but it's just the deadpan, this is what's happening.
Do I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
Safe, secure, no problem.
So looking at that video and the first TikTok video,
Yes.
do they look like the same person to you?
They actually look similar, but if you look at the ears and the eyebrows and the nose, which are typically how people will indicate, because those things don't change that drastically over time.
Yeah.
It does not appear to be the same guy. But they look crazy similar.
Okay.
Like you would really, I had to pause both videos and I was just studying. I was just analyzing their faces.
Now I really need to know what happened to the TikTok guy.
That's what everybody is saying. Where
Right.
is he? He was in San Diego. The video was filmed in San Diego. I don't know if he lives there. I don't know if he's visiting, but someone needs to find that man.
Where does Ryan live?
Wisconsin.
Oh, I see.
But he could have gone for vacation.
Right.
But I will say there are some discrepancies. Ryan's kids, he has a high schooler and some in grade school. The TikTok video, the man said he's an empty nester. So all of his kids. But I think it's worse that there's two people like that.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if it's just Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. That's it. The context of the video that he submitted.
that's it.
What happens next? The police is like, okay, with this video, we don't have to worry about him anymore.
So they take that as proof of life and they hold another press conference where they show this video to the world. They say, we received this video and the authorities hint at the fact that he's likely in an Eastern European country.
Correct, we do not know exactly where he's at. We know that it's someplace in Eastern Europe.
Now, this could be valid. He could very much well be in Eastern Europe. But if he's in Uzbekistan, just technicality-wise, that's not an Eastern European country. It's a Central Asian nation, but I digress, okay? A lot of netizens have been pointing to it, so I want to include the discrepancy. But as of right now, the public is not even sure if he's in Uzbekistan. He could be anywhere for that matter. People have even tried to tag GeoGuessers to guess his location, but nothing particularly enlightening has come out of that. In the video, the 24-second clip sent by Ryan to the authorities, he says, good morning, it's 10 a.m. for most of you guys, which in Eastern Europe, if that is where he is, because he says good evening, but it's 10 a.m. for you guys, it would line up with Central Asia, Eastern Europe. They find a door with curved windows on it that could be traced to places like Turkey and China, but those are likely where it's manufactured. So technically they could be anywhere, but it doesn't seem like those doors are that prominent in the Western world.
I see.
Now, interesting is there are these little vents above the main front door. So he just shows us like 2 doors. We don't really get to see anything. There's these 2 vents above his apartment front door. They look like vents, but they're actually circuit boards.
I see.
And people have been able to pinpoint that as being commonplace in Uzbekistan, to have circuit boards above your front door in apartments.
So why did the police say he went to that Uzbekistan? Like, where does that information come from, except if it's not from the TikTok?
They found on his computer he was talking to a woman from Uzbekistan.
Oh, that's
but we
right.
don't know if she still lives in Uzbekistan. We don't know if she was like, hey, I'm in Uzbekistan, but let's meet in this other country. In the press conference, Sheriff Padal states that Ryan has filled them in exactly how he faked his death. It took months of meticulous planning. He took out the life insurance policy for his family January of 2020.
Wait, he told the cops everything?
Yeah.
What?
He went missing in August, so he's been planning that. I mean, this was in the works for a very long time. He had more than enough time to have a moment of clarity thinking, hey, so maybe this is crazy. But no, nothing never occurred to him. He applied for a new passport stating that his went missing, which is why they have his original passport in the house. They didn't run the passport, but they saw he had it, so they didn't assume he left the country because his passport is here.
Right, I see.
And everything else, there was no indication that he was thinking about leaving the country. Nobody was like, hey, my coworker who's missing, he actually said he was going to Uzbekistan. Nobody said anything like that. So I think that's why they did not search for his name early on in this process.
Okay.
He applies for the life insurance policy January, applies for a new passport in May. Then in August, he takes pictures of all of his passports. He transfers a few funds to a foreign bank account, changes his email address, and is in constant communication with a woman from Uzbekistan. Then on the day that he disappears, he clears his search history, syncs his iCloud, and according to investigators, quote, he had planned to head to Europe and try to mislead investigators. He purchased an airline gift card to buy the ticket so that I guess his wife wouldn't see the transactions.
Okay.
And how about the actual fake drowning? Ryan states that he had this child-sized inflatable boat. Okay, then he strings his kayak. He paddles out into the deep part of the lake, capsizes the kayak, and then rows the little inflatable child-sized boat back to shore. He also dumped his phone in the lake. Then once he gets to shore, he had hidden an electric bike nearby. He rides that electric bike
gosh.
all the way to Madison, where he gets on a bus to Detroit, Michigan. Then he crosses the land border into Canada, and then he gets on a plane to head to wherever he is now.
Which we don't know?
At least the authorities are not telling us.
Okay.
They just said Eastern Europe.
That is a crazy movie plot.
Gone boy.
Gone boy. Exactly.
He just gone boyed. Yeah. The sheriff states he did his research. One of the reasons why he picked Green Lake was because it was the deepest lake in Wisconsin. He thought his plan was going to pan out, but it didn't go the way he planned. So now we're trying to give him a different plan as to how to come back home. The sheriff states that he chose the wrong sheriff's department because Ryan said, I thought that you guys would only search for me for like 2 weeks before presuming me dead so that my family could get the life insurance policy.
So do you think it's also like no body, no insurance type of thing? Like,
I think you have to wait like 7 years. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but the sheriff states, well, I hate to tell you, you picked the wrong sheriff in the wrong department. As for how the authorities got in contact with Ryan, they were able to get in contact with a woman who spoke Russian through his laptop. I guess maybe there were some remnants of a woman. And that's it. They won't say who this woman is. They won't say if it's the same woman from Uzbekistan. They won't say what her relation to Ryan is. They won't say anything. Just a woman who speaks Russian. That's it. That's all we got. Sheriff Padal states in the press conference, the great news is that we know that he is alive and well. The bad news is that we don't know where Ryan exactly is, and he has not yet decided to return home. And it's been really hard for the kids, which would be considered an understatement. During the press conference, Sheriff Mike Padal was asked, how's the family doing? The family is doing rather well. We met with him earlier today. Yeah, it was a big shocker for them. I put a lot on his wife's shoulders. It was hard because of her kids, and she couldn't tell them or anyone. So for a while, she couldn't tell them that the sheriff believed he was alive. Yeah. So community members are coming up to her, apologizing, giving her condolences. And she's like, I think my husband faked his death and is in Eastern Europe, but I can't even say that.
I want to thank his wife. That is one strong lady. Whenever we called on her, she always responded and she gave everything that she could for us.
He says, that lady is very strong, very strong. The press asks, so there's no indication that any family members had any connection with Ryan and what he did? No, there is not. He goes on to state later.
His biggest concern is how the community is going to react to him. And I can see that. He staged his death, unfortunately.
So he is a little nervous about coming back, and he doesn't want to come back. You know those cute PowerPoint videos that your phone makes with the old photos that you come across every few months? I get the cutest little videos of my nieces. My sister takes hundreds of photos of my little nieces, and I don't know if they ever go back and look at them. And then I got them Aura frames. They now appreciate all of those moments just randomly throughout the day, every day. Aura frames is the world's smartest digital picture frame. It's an easy and beautiful solution to instantly frame photos and videos from your phone. All you need is the Aura frame and free app, Wi-Fi, and you automatically get free unlimited storage. You can also have your family or friends or whoever you invite to also share photos and videos that will instantly appear on your Aura frame wherever they are in the world. I think this is so beautiful for long distance friendships, relationships, or if your kid is going to college, this is kind of perfect. No memory card required. Aura frames is a fantastic option for the holidays as well because you can personalize and preload an Aura frame. Plus, once you buy the Aura frame, there is no membership required to use it, no strings attached. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code ROTTEN at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code ROTTEN. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. I talked about this in the past, but my family has a history of Alzheimer's, and it's made all my family very active and thinking of different ways to keep our brain alive, keep working and learning new skills. And did you guys know bilingualism is associated with a smaller rate of cognitive decline in older adults? Studies have shown that bilingual individuals may exhibit symptoms of Alzheimer's and other cognitive disorders later than monolinguals, and that's why I love working with Rosetta Stone. It is the most trusted language learning program that truly immerses you in the language you want to learn. The program is available online and on the App Store, and Rosetta Stone has taught millions of people new languages for over 30 years. Instead of those traditional textbook methods, which never really stick with me, they use a learning method called dynamic immersion. It mimics how you learn your first language as a baby by surrounding you in that language, encouraging you to learn naturally. Rosetta Stone's True Accent feature will ensure that you get the vital feedback and your pronunciation. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. Today, Rotten Mango listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/rotten. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/rotten today for yourself or as a gift that keeps giving. The sheriff is asked, has he expressed remorse for what he put his family through? Yeah, he talks about that. He also talks about how he feels bad for the amount of hours that we've put in and the community. He says, I got myself in this situation and I just got to try to get myself out of it. Sheriff Padal does state that Ryan gets emotional at times and that he's, quote, trying to work out the right things. Sheriff Padal states, we just want him to come back home, rejoin his family. They just want their dad back. They love him. They want him back in their lives. Christmas is coming, and what better gift could he give to his kids than to be here for Christmas? Which could be true, or it could be a way for him to get Ryan back home to be charged. But they do state that they have been in contact with Ryan every single day since he sent that video. So, potential charges are, for faking his death, Ryan could be charged with a misdemeanor for obstruction, which is crazy. The actual act of faking his death is not illegal. Having everyone search for him, causing a whole spectacle in the area and on a national scale is technically not illegal. Like it's not, it's the fact that he planted the kayak that's illegal. If he just disappeared without misleading investigators by putting things in certain places that make them search the lake, that make them do certain things, then technically it's not illegal. And even if it is a charge, it's a weak little misdemeanor.
Yeah.
The law professor states that him either giving an officer false information or knowingly placing physical evidence that would mislead the investigation is obstruction. That's $10,000 or a max of 9 months in prison. However, the real legal trouble comes in if the feds want to go in and charge him for insurance fraud, because that would actually be a felony. Like, that charge is higher than the obstruction. The way insurance fraud is considered a worse crime than this, it just tells us what lobbying is doing, okay? Insurance companies have lobbied extensively to make sure insurance fraud gets classified as a felony in most jurisdictions. They paid a lot of money to legislators. To make things even more bizarre is that he's allegedly an insurance agent prior to all of this. So, in this situation, the potential penalties likely won't be as extensive considering the family never actually received the payout. Honestly, we don't even know if he's ever coming back to the US, but it would be about a few years in prison. And on top of that, the sheriff's department would likely seek restitution between $35,000 to $45,000 to compensate for the search. Keith, who runs Bruce's Legacy, which was a foundation that he set up for his brother Bruce, he said about this whole search, it was disheartening because he could have spent that time looking for others. He says, you meet all kinds of people in the world, and I guess this guy just went to the extremes faking his disappearance. So it's a first. He definitely cost us a lot of grief, a lot of money, repairs, and equipment. I just hope he comes forward sooner rather than later so the family can move on. There is no way to force Ryan back. We don't know where he is, and if he is in Uzbekistan, the US does not have an extradition treaty with them. Many netizens do not want Ryan to come back. They comment, he needs to, quote, come home to his kids, the same kids that he abandoned and convinced he died in a tragic accident. He needs to pay child support and stay the hell away from their lives. Other netizens point out that Ryan is not dumb. He knows better than to come home, even if the sheriff is saying, we're just trying to get him home to his family. They write, the sheriff is catfishing Ryan right now. His butt is going to be in prison the minute he steps on US soil. He knows better than to come home. Another comment reads, they don't want that man to come home back for his kid. They want their $40,000 back. One netizen points out the fact that his family must have gone through all the stages of grief and it just amplifies their trauma. They read, they mourned him and everything. That's messed up. I don't care how tired of life he was. He didn't have the guts to tell the truth. Those poor kids. How weird and crazy is that? He faked his own death and put his wife and children through that trauma. They're definitely better out without him. Another comment reads, I can't even imagine this level of rejection from a parent. Leaving is one thing, but faking your whole death is just a different level of cruel punishment. My heart aches for his kids. The damage that he caused is going to affect them for the rest of their lives. Others are just hoping for the worst for Ryan. They write, imagine he went all the way to Uzbekistan just to be catfished, LOL. Another netizen writes, imagine if the guy who faked his death and the guy on the TikTok were both catfished by the same woman in Uzbekistan. To which another netizen responds, imagine if the wife is the one that catfished him to get rid of him by convincing him to leave the country and fake his death so that she could keep the house and the kids and collect life insurance payout. Which clearly is not the case here, but I guess it's an interesting what if that makes people feel better. I would be doing a disservice by not highlighting some insane comments. Some netizens point to the idea that someone should have seen this coming, writing, he looks miserable in his family pictures. Imagine the amount of nagging it required for him to reach this point, LMAO.
That is crazy.
Yeah, another agrees, stating he looks hella uncomfortable around his family in this photo. I don't know, man. I would just let him be. He looks traumatized with his family. I guess strange minds think alike. Another comment reads, saw this story on the news the other day. He supposedly had a bad bitch waiting for him in another country. LOL. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he faked his death. I could give you 4 more reasons, aka his 3 kids and his wife. Some even write, how do you know his wife wasn't the problem? To my amazement, a lot of people actually have that take. I would like to say the vast majority are not siding with Ryan, but one comment reads, well, at least he didn't unalive his family like they usually do. Okay, many netizens actually share this sentiment, which to a degree, I think, yes, we can all agree killing people is bad, and it could always be far worse. It could have been far worse like it has been with others before, but it's still a crazy thing to say and do, and he should probably serve jail time, if not even alone for the fact that you're kind of scary to go that far to fake your death, which people are pointing out, the bar is so low for men that a man faking his death is met with, well, at least he didn't murder his entire family. But some netizens think it's just an excuse for him to move on with his life, saying, I'm happy he didn't kill them. Let him live his European life. I'm not saying I agree, but I understand. Just kidding, just kidding. At least he didn't unalive his family. Another comment reads that everyone should be happy that they're all alive, saying he left them a hefty insurance policy and their lives. LOL. The only people mad is the insurance company. Everybody else is a hating ass. Another comment wildly puts it, well, nobody died, so I don't think anybody should be mad. He just hated his wife and kids, and I'm okay with that because he didn't kill them. With one
Is crazy.
Yeah, with one even implying that the wife and children need to move on. His former family should just respect his wishes. He doesn't exist anymore to them, and the wife should file to be a free woman.
Wow, internet is a interesting place, huh?
Yeah. Some even tried to feel sorry for the guy, writing, in this patriarchal system, quote, patriarchal, because we're not in a patriarchy. If he wanted a divorce, he would lose everything and be working every day just to give it away. It wouldn't really be any different than staying married. I'm sure he thought there was no way out besides marriage counseling. Jeez.
This is a passport, bro.
Yeah, these are absolutely diabolical things to say about this situation, but not as crazy as another comment that reads, how annoying do you think his family was for him to do something like this? Another reads, his wife must be a real bitch. Kidding, kidding. But he must have had the worst wife and kids ever. Faking your death to get away from them is pretty extreme. Another, I can't hate. They were probably annoying. At least he ain't no killer. They need to leave that man be. His family must be the worst people to put up with that. You know, what drove him to such desperation? I would look at the wife. Another, someone call the police for this one, reads, it probably would have been easier to kill her than to talk to her about divorce. Another just jokes. He didn't let his family stop him from letting him be with the love of his life. And you gotta respect that. I don't blame him. Some very good-looking women over there in Uzbekistan. Yeah. Women from there are very beautiful, skinny, and not fat. Just say no to pizza. Yeah. Yeah, but then you have some women commenting, and they just write, how do I get my husband to do this? Yeah, and some people just write, don't let your wife stop you from finding your dream girlfriend. Or another one reads, someone just purchased a kayak, is watching this, and is looking at his return receipt thinking, damn, back to the drawing board.
These are some crazy takes.
And that is the case of the missing kayaker found alive, missing kayaker presumed dead, found alive with a woman from Uzbekistan connected to a TikTok of another man who wants to go to Uzbekistan.
You think the TikTok played a role in this case or no?
I think it played a role in making the case a lot more viral.
So that's not why he reached out to send the video?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just the police are saying that.
Yeah, so the police did 2 press conferences. And I think, you know, even from early October, he knew that they knew he was alive. The TikTok wasn't posted until November. So the police were on to him early October. Yes. And then everything just kind of blew up in November. The police did a press conference, the TikTok, mainstream media picked up on it. The police did another press conference, and it just went crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to the depths of Passport Bro forums for this one. Please let me know, what are your thoughts? And stay safe. Don't go kayaking at night. And I will see you in the next one.